beginner's tutorial. In this video, we'll cover the interface basics including the tool panel, timeline, source panel, project panel, and the process of exporting videos. Whether you're new to editing or looking to brush up your skills, we've got you covered. Let's get started. Let's start with the home screen. The home screen is where you begin with Adobe Premiere Pro. It has options to create a new project or open existing project. When we create a new project, we can see the header bar to navigate with Premiere Pro. Firstly, we have a Home button to open the home screen. Then we have an Import tab, which will help us import files. Next, we have an Edit tab, which will be our main tab for editing in Premiere Pro. After that, we have an Export tab, which will help us export videos. Below that, we have the project name, and hovering over your project will also show the destination where the project is saved. Then we have a Workspace tab, from which we can change workspaces. Following that, we have a Quick Export button, which helps us export videos quickly. Lastly, we have Maximize Video Output for viewing video output in full screen mode. To exit the full screen mode, press keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus tilde on Windows or Command plus tilde on Mac. Now let's see the different workspaces available in Adobe Premiere Pro. Adobe Premiere Pro uses panel-based interfaces, which are called workspaces. The default workspace contains a group of panels and standalone panels. We can customize a workspace by arranging panels in a layout that suits us. We can create several custom workspaces for different tasks. The first workspace available in Premiere Pro is Essentials. In Essentials, everything we need is organized for easy access. It's recommended if you work on a single monitor setup. Also, this is the default workspace of Premiere Pro. Next is the Vertical workspace, which is best for vertical videos. Then we have the Learning workspace, which can be used while learning in-app tutorials and editing. Assembly. The Assembly workspace is designed for fast review and rough cut editing. Editing. Editing is the default editing workspace in Premiere Pro, which has 25 panels. Color. Premiere Pro provides professional quality color grading and color correction tools in the Color workspace. Effects. The Effects workspace has various effects for video and audio editing. Audio. In Adobe Premiere Pro's Audio workspace, you can edit audio, add effects, and mix. Captions and Graphics. The Captions and Graphics workspace is used while working with captions or graphics on your video. Review. The Review workspace is used if you want to use Frame.io for reviews. Libraries. The Library workspace allows you to add and share media and assets between various Adobe apps. All Panels. The All Panels workspace has all panels available in Premiere Pro. Metalogging. The Metalogging workspace is for entering metadata after importing, capturing, or digitizing media into Premiere Pro. Production. The Production workspace is used while working or collaborating with a team on a production. Now let's see the different methods of changing the workspace. The first one is from the Workspace tab, where a drop-down list will appear with workspaces. The second one is from Window, Workspaces. By default, Premiere Pro opens projects in whatever workspace you currently have open. However, you can open a project in the workspace last used with it. Before opening a project, select Window, Workspaces. Import workspace from project. Additionally, we can modify the order of workspaces or delete them. To modify the order, go to the Workspace tab and choose Edit Workspaces, or go to Window, Workspaces. Edit Workspaces. The Edit Workspaces dialog will open, where you can reorder workspaces, hide them, or delete custom workspaces. Also, we can dock, group, or float panels in Adobe Premiere Pro. We can dock panels together, move them into or out of groups, and undock them so they float above the application window. Docking zones exist along the edges of a panel, group, or window. Docking a panel places it near the existing group, resizing all groups to accommodate the new panel. For example, if I want the Effect Controls panel anywhere else, I will select the Effect Controls panel from the top and drag it to another dock. Now we can see there are multiple places at the edge of this panel. Simply go to the edge where you want to add the Effect Controls and release the mouse button. Your Effect Controls panel will be docked there. Grouping zones exist in the middle of a panel or group along the tab area of the panel. Dropping a panel on a grouping zone stacks it with other panels. For example, I will select the Effect Controls panel from the top and drag and drop it in the middle of the program monitor. Now you can see we have the program monitor and Effect Controls in a group. If the panel you want to dock or group is not visible, choose it from the Window menu. Now let's see how to undock a panel in a floating window. When we undock a panel in a floating window, we can add panels to the window and modify it compared to the application window. You can use floating windows to use a secondary monitor or to create workspaces. For example, if I want to undock the Effect Controls panel, I will right-click on the panel menu and select the Undock option. The Effect Controls panel will start floating. Now let's see resizing the panel groups. When we position the pointer over dividers between panel groups, resize icons appear. When you drag these icons, all groups that share the divider are resized. For example, if I want the Effect Controls panel to be horizontally small, I will go to the divider between Effect Controls and Program Monitor and drag it towards the right to make the Effect Controls panel horizontally small. This will also affect the size of the Program Monitor, making it larger horizontally. Now let's see how we can brighten or darken the interface. You can lower the brightness, especially when working in a darkened editing suite or when making color corrections. To change the brightness on Mac, go to Premiere Pro, Preferences, then Appearance. And for Windows, go to Edit, Preferences, then Appearance. In the Appearance panel, adjust the brightness and intensity of the highlight color according to your requirements. In Premiere Pro, the Tools panel is found on the left side of your workspace and is packed with useful editing tools. These tools are meant to help you edit your videos quickly, smoothly, and effectively. The first tool in the Tool panel is the Selection tool. It is used for selecting clips, menu items, and other objects in the user interface. The keyboard shortcut for the Selection tool is V. Using this Selection tool, we can select clips on the timeline and drag them wherever we want. The next one is the Track Selection Forward tool. It is used to select all the clips to the right of the cursor in a sequence. The keyboard shortcut for this is A. We have taken the Track Selection tool and will select this clip. This tool will select all the clips to the right of my click. The next one is the Track Selection Backward tool. It is used to select all the clips to the left of the cursor in a sequence. The keyboard shortcut for this is Shift+A. I have taken the Track Selection tool and will select this clip. This tool will select all the clips to the left of my click. The next one is the Ripple Edit tool. The shortcut for the Ripple Edit tool is B. It is used to trim the in or out point between two clips on the timeline. The Ripple Edit tool closes gaps caused by the edit and preserves all the edits to the left or right of the trimmed clip. The next tool is the Rolling Edit tool. The shortcut for the Rolling Edit tool is N. It is used to roll the edit point between two clips in a timeline. The rolling edit tool trims the in point of the one and the out point of the other, while leaving the combined duration of the two clips unchanged. The next one is the rate stretch tool. The shortcut for the rate stretch tool is R. It is used to shorten the clip on the timeline by speeding up its playback, or to lengthen it by slowing it down. The rate stretch tool changes speed and duration, but leaves the in and out points of the clip unchanged. Then we have a remix tool that helps in remixing audio. Select the remix tool and drag the edge of an audio clip. An Essential Sound panel will be opened where you can remix audio clips using these properties. The next one is a razor tool. The shortcut for the razor tool is C. It is used to make one or more cuts and clips on a timeline. Click a point in a clip to split it at that precise location. Also, you can add cuts by pressing Ctrl+K or Command+K on the keyboard. In the description below, you can find a link to Envato Elements, which offers millions of incredible resources to assist you on your video creation journey. The next one is the Slip tool. The shortcut for the Slip tool is Y. It is used to simultaneously change the in and out points of a clip in a timeline while keeping the time span between them constant. The next one is a Slide tool. The shortcut for the Slide tool is U. It is used to move a clip to the left or right in a timeline while simultaneously trimming the two clips that surround it. The next one is the Pen tool. The shortcut for the Pen tool is P. It is used to set or select keyframes, or to adjust connector lines in a timeline. Drag a connector line vertically to adjust it. Use Ctrl+left click or Command+left click on the connector line to set a keyframe. The next tool is the Rectangle tool. It allows you to create rectangular shapes, and you can modify its properties in the Effect Control panel, then Shape, and then Appearance. You can adjust parameters such as color, stroke, and shadow. Following that is the Ellipse tool, which is used for creating ellipse shapes. Lastly, we have the Polygon tool, which enables you to create polygons. The next one is a Hand tool. The shortcut for the Hand tool is H. It is used to move the viewing area of a timeline to the right or left. The next one is the Zoom tool. The shortcut for the Zoom tool is Z. It is used to zoom in or zoom out in a timeline viewing area. Click in the viewing area to zoom in by one increment. Alt+click or Option+click to zoom out by one increment. The last one is the Type tool. The shortcut for the Type tool is T. We can use a Type tool to create a text box or type text on the project window. Then we have a Vertical Type tool to create vertical text on the project window. Firstly, we need to add our footage to the sequence on the timeline. Double-click on the media file you want to use. It will open in the source monitor, allowing you to select specific parts you want to use in your video. Use I to set the in point, and O to set the out point for your selection. This way, you only use the best parts of your clips. After trimming your video, drag it from the source monitor and drop it onto the video track in the timeline panel. If your video has audio, it will automatically link to the video. To separate them, drag the audio part to a different audio track. Now let's discuss about the options available on the timeline. Firstly, we have source patching for inserts and overwrites. Source patching in Premiere Pro allows you to control which tracks in your timeline are affected when you add or replace a clip from the source monitor. It ensures that the selected clip goes exactly where you want it in the timeline. It's especially useful for projects with many video and audio tracks, giving you precise control over where your new clips should go. To enable source patching, click the Source Patching button for the desired track in the timeline, or use the keyboard shortcut, comma, for video tracks and audio tracks. For overwriting clips, use the keyboard shortcut, full stop, for both video and audio tracks. This feature helps you manage your timeline effectively when dealing with multiple video and audio layers. Next, we have Toggle Track Lock for the audio and the video layers. Each layer comes with its own toggle lock. When a layer is locked, we are unable to modify or edit it. For example, let's lock the V1 layer. Now we can't even select the clips on layer V1. Now let's discuss the timeline's video and audio layers. It's pretty straightforward. The video layers are named V1, V2, and V3, while the audio layers are named A1, A2, and A3. Then we have a toggle for track targeting, which can be toggled by clicking on the layer names, such as V1 and A1. By default, V1 and A1 are toggled on for track targeting. If you want to paste a clip on the V2 layer, make sure the V2 layer is toggled on, and then simply paste away. The same goes for audio layers. Then we have Toggle Sync Lock, which is automatically enabled. It ensures that all tracks which are toggled on are affected equally by certain adjustments made to any track. For example, we have this clip on V3 with audio attached to the A3 track. If you toggle off the sync lock for A3 and ripple delete the clip on V2, you'll see that all tracks except A3 are affected. Now let's undo and toggle on the sync lock for A3. Now I'm ripple deleting the clip from V2. You can see the audio track A3 is also affected by ripple delete. To keep things organized, we've got an eye icon for toggle track output. If you disable it, you won't see the output of that particular layer. For example, I will toggle off layer V2. Now you can't see the output for layer V2. In audio, we have a mute icon that mutes the audio track. Besides mute, we have a solo track. All the tracks except the solo track enabled will be muted. Only the enabled audio track will be played. Then we have a microphone icon that helps us to record voiceover directly in Premiere Pro. For example, if you position the playhead at a specific point, the recording will start from that position. By clicking on the icon, Premiere Pro will start recording voiceover. Now click again to stop recording, and the recorded layer will be added to your timeline. You can always adjust the heights of the layers by simply double-clicking on that layer to expand that particular track. Or else you can hold and drag the lines between two tracks to expand them. It can be also done by pressing Alt on Windows or Option on Mac, and scrolling the mouse wheel will expand and contract the layer. Make sure this will affect the layer on which your cursor will be placed. So we'll start from the top left first. We have a sequence time code here, which portrays time from hours, minutes, seconds, and frames per second. Then, we have the Insert and Overwrite Sequences as Nests or Individual Clips option. This option allows you to control how sequences are inserted or overwritten when working with nested sequences. Nested sequences are a powerful organizational tool in video editing. They allow you to take a sequence and treat it as a single clip within another sequence. This can be incredibly useful when you want to apply effects, transitions, or adjustments to multiple clips as a group, or when you need to create complex compositions and maintain a structured timeline. For example, if you have a sequence named as Sequence A within your project and you want to insert or overwrite it into another sequence named as Sequence B, you can choose between two options. 1. Insert and overwrite as individual clips. If you select this option, Premiere Pro will treat the contents of Sequence A as individual clips. When you insert or overwrite Sequence A into Sequence B, each clip within Sequence A will be placed on its own track in Sequence B. This level of control lets you fine-tune the clips and their arrangement in the new sequence like a pro. 2. Insert and overwrite as nest. If you choose this option, Premiere Pro will treat Sequence A as a single nested sequence. When you insert or overwrite Sequence A into Sequence B, The entire contents of Sequence A will be treated as a single clip and placed on a single track in Sequence B. It's perfect for keeping things grouped together and preserving the overall structure of Sequence A within Sequence B. Now we have a Snap in Timeline button. Shortcut for Snap in Timeline is S. It allows us to magnetically snap one edit to the end of another. For example, if it is off, whenever we drag clips on the timeline, there's a possibility that the clips will not attach to each other. There will be gaps in between clips. Turning the Snap in Timeline will make sure there are no gaps while dragging and dropping the clips on the timeline. The next one is the Linked Selection button. The Linked Selection button allows you to toggle the connection between the video and audio on the timeline. For example, if I select this clip on the timeline, the audio will be selected too. Once I turn off the linked selection, I can work separately with audio and video. Then we have a marker icon, which adds markers on the timeline wherever the playhead is placed. Markers can be used for commenting about selected parts of the timeline, defining chapters in the project, and for adding a URL that provides more information about selected parts. For example, place your playhead where you want to add markers on the timeline. Make sure clips are not selected and select marker icon, or simply use the M shortcut and a marker will be added to your timeline. Now double-click the marker to change its name, duration, comments, chapter marker, web link, etc. Beside the marker, there's an icon for settings of timeline. Under Timeline Settings, the first one is Show Source Clip Name and Label, which shows the names and labels of your clips if you have given them. Show Video Thumbnails. It provides a reference frame on each individual clip. Show Video Keyframes. It will display keyframe information straight on our video clips if you have a keyframe on video. Show Video Names. It will display the names of the videos. Show Audio Waveform. It will show waveforms for the audio used on the timeline. Show Audio Keyframes. It will display audio keyframes if you have them. Show Audio Name. It will show the names of the audio on the timeline. Show Clip Markers. It will show markers if you have marked any on the timeline. Show Duplicate Frame Markers. It will help us if any clips or frames are displayed more than once on the timeline. Show Through Edits. It shows a cut in a clip where there is no change on either side of the clip. Show FX Badges. It has 3 types of badges. The first one is a gray one, which means there's no change with your clip. The second one is yellow, which means you have keyframes on your clips. And the third one is green, which means you have an actual effect on your clip. Show Proxy Badges. When you're using proxies in your existing project, you'll see a specific icon displayed on the top left of your video clips. Adobe Premiere Pro uses proxies, which are smaller, lower-resolution versions of your original video files. These proxies help make the editing process smoother and more efficient, particularly when dealing with high-resolution footage like 4K or higher formats. Composite Preview during trim. It simply shows you a composite of both the frame being trimmed and the frame of the current clip on the timeline. You can turn this off to see a full-screen preview of only the frame being trimmed. Minimize All Tracks. It will minimize all the tracks on the timeline. Expand All Tracks. It will expand all the tracks on the timeline. Save Presets. This will create a preset from your current timeline settings. Manage Presets. Here you can manage your timeline presets. Customize Video Header. It helps us to customize video headers available on the timeline. Customize Audio Header. It helps us to customize audio headers available on the timeline. At last, we have Closed CC, which is for captions. This one allows us to toggle between showing and hiding captions on the timeline. The source monitor plays one video clip at a time, and its primary job is to help the editors prepare the video footage for editing. Source monitor contains both time ruler and controls for playback. The time code can be seen at the bottom left of the source monitor, which portrays the duration of the clip. This duration can vary from hours to frames per second. Besides the time code, we have a scaling tool for the source monitor. This scaling tool helps the editor to zoom in and zoom out of the video clips inside the source monitor. Scaling options are available from 10% up to 400%. We also have video only and audio only icons. If we only click and drag the video only icon, the video will be dragged to the timeline. And similarly, if we click and drag the audio only icon, then only the audio will be dragged to the timeline. Now let's discuss the playback resolution settings for the source monitor. Playback resolution settings allow the user to lower the resolution of the previews that Premiere Pro displays in the source monitor. Lower resolutions are easier to playback, so you can set playback resolution to a lower value. For example, 1/4 of the actual resolution for smooth playback. And set the pause resolution to full. In the description below, you can find a link to Envato Elements, which offers millions of incredible resources to assist you on your video creation journey. We also have a marker option on the bottom of the source panel, or you can simply press M on the keyboard. We can add multiple markers to our footage. Markers are often used when we need different portions of the same video clip. To remove markers, simply right-click on the time ruler and choose either Clear Marker to remove all markers or Clear Selected Marker to remove only the selected markers. Then we have In-Point and Out-Point icons, which add a pointer wherever the playhead is played on the timeline. Else you can simply add in and out points by using the keyboard shortcuts, that is I and O. In-point and out-point helps the editor to select a certain portion of the video clip before dragging it to the timeline. Besides in and out points, we have a Go to In and Go to Out icon, which jumps to the in point of the clip and out point of the video clip. Or you can simply press Shift+I for Go to In and Shift+O for Go to Out on the keyboard. Then we also have the option to move between frames, which is back one frame icon, and the forward one frame icon. These icons allow us to move frame by frame backwards and forwards. The keyboard shortcut for this is the left arrow and right arrow keys. Source Monitor also has a play and pause button. This helps the editor to stop or start playing the footage as and when required. Besides this, Source Monitor also has an option of an insert icon, which helps us to insert a video clip exactly on the spot where the playhead is placed on the timeline. The shortcut for this is a comma symbol. Now let's move on to the overwrite icon, which overwrites the video clip exactly on the spot where the playhead is placed on the timeline. The shortcut for this is the full stop symbol. Next, we have the export frame icon, which can be used for exporting a single frame from the video clip. Place your playhead on the desired frame in the video clip. Click on the Export Frame button. A dialog box will be opened. Now enter a name for this frame and select the export format. You can also check the box if you want this frame to be imported into your project. Just click on OK and your frame will be exported. Once you have created a project in Premiere Pro, all the files imported will be shown in the Project panel. The Project panel is where you can import, locate, find, organize, and preview your clips. At the bottom left of the project panel, there is a toggle button to switch between read-only and read-write files for project panels. If it's toggled for read-only, you cannot import or use these files. All the files will be read-only. Also on the right side, we can see buttons for list view, icon view, and freeform view. If you have a list view toggled on, all the files present in the project panel will be in the listed view. If the icon view is toggled on, all the files in the project panel will be in the icon view. If the freeform view is toggled on, all the files will be in freeform view. In the description below, you can find a link to Envato Elements, which offers millions of incredible resources to assist you on your video creation journey. Besides these, there is a slider for adjusting the size of icons and thumbnails of files. Right to the slider, there is a button for how you want to sort your files in the project panel. Now there is an Automate Sequence option. By using this option, Premiere Pro will create a sequence for you using selected footage or bins in the project panel. We'll further look into automating to sequence deeply. Right to automate the sequence, we have a Find icon from which we can find the files in the project panel. After that, we have an icon to create bins in project panels. Besides the bin icon, we have a new item icon from where you can create sequences, adjustment layers, color mats, etc. And now, at last, we have a delete icon, which deletes selected files in the project panel. First of all, we will select the sequence, which we want to export. Go to the File menu, Export, and then Media. Or else use a keyboard shortcut, that is Ctrl+M on Windows, or Command+M on Mac. You can now see the export window. Here name your file according to your requirement. I have named it Sample. Now, click on Browse and select your preferred location where you want to save your file. In the Preset drop-down menu, select Preset according to your requirement. For now, I'm selecting Match Source Adaptive High Bitrate. In Format, select H.264 codec for high-quality MP4 video and low file size. In the video, select Render at maximum depth and use maximum render quality. After that, just click on Export on the right bottom, and your video will start rendering. The time depends on the video resolution, effects used, etc. In the description below, you can find a link to Envato Elements, which offers millions of incredible resources to assist you on your video creation journey. Now, let's see how to export video using an Adobe Media Encoder. Keep in mind that for exporting using a media encoder, versions of both applications should be the same. In my case, I have the 2022 version of Premiere Pro. Then similarly, I need a Media Encoder 2022 for exporting. Now, go to the File menu, then Export, and click on Media. Or else use a keyboard shortcut, that is Ctrl+M on Windows or Command+M on Mac to open the export window. Here you need to name your file. Define location. Select the preset and format. Now at the right bottom, click on Send to Media Encoder. Adobe Media Encoder will be opened. Here you can change the format of the video, add presets, and also define the output name and location. Now at the top right, click on the play button. Your video will start exporting. Here rendering time depends on the resolution and effects used in the video. If you want to download project files or any of the assets used in creating this video, you can find the link in the description below. And that's it. In this tutorial, you've learned the interface basics, including the tool panel, timeline, source panel, project panel, and the process of exporting videos. Kindly share your experience in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see